Hello and welcome to the Book of Endless Pages. Today we are going to be covering Wind and Truth, chapters 10 and 11. The second moment happened already when Zeth himself decided to take upon him this quest, the one that would shape all of our futures. We have two different things to cover here. Who is writing this book, and who are the Knights of Wind and Truth? Let's cover the author first. The people I've seen as potential authors, or theorized myself, are Shallan, Yasna, Vinley, Renarin, and Syl. Of these, I actually think Syl and Renarin are the most likely. Why? This latest chapter lets us know about Syl's aspirations to write, and swearing the fifth ideal may give her the final level of substance that she needs to interact with the physical realm. The wording of this epigraph, though, makes me think of Renarin. What if this was a possibility that Renarin saw, and he is specifically letting us know that this act is what's changing everything? As for who it's about, I think that just about everyone agrees the Knight of Wind is Kaladin. The Knight of Truth has a lot of speculation, though. Zeth is truthless, Shallan's oaths have to do with telling the truth, and then Renarin is a truth watcher. My personal take, it's a romance novel between Verlaine, an original inhabitant of Roshar that is able to hear the wind speak to him, and Renarin, the truth watcher. When we jump to the Horny Ardents in Era 2, they're going to be talking about how much they love this book and the graphic scenes it talks about. Okay, I'm kidding. But considering the context of this chapter, let's just say I was not prepared. In all seriousness, I think it's about Kaladin and Zeth, or Kaladin and Renarin. Kaladin and Zeth is who I've thought of since the beginning, but Renarin has been my long shot guess as the Knight of Truth for a while. Getting into the chapter, Brandon continues his hatred of librarians. We see Syl even more in the physical realm, actually being able to hold and write with a pencil. What I don't understand is why Syl and Kaladin are being treated so badly by the caretaker. I assume that multiple people are taking these books onto the field, and Kaladin would be looked at as the hero of Urithiru after the events of the last book. I guess there's some sort of prejudice starting, maybe? Or perhaps this is a spy from Ishar? They have been conducting experiments in the cognitive realm, torturing and potentially killing Spren. We do get into a rather interesting discussion about trollheads, and it puts a new perspective on some earlier book conversations. Trollhead, Lopin said? Very good to eat. You are a strange man, Lopin, Kaladin said. No, Rock said. They are really good. The head is the best part of the troll. And going from that, you also don't really need much imagination to wonder what Kaladin and Shallan were really calling each other here. Kaladin, I misspoke. I didn't mean any man, just males of your own species. But don't worry, I'll take care not to let our trolls get too close. Oh, your parents are in the area then? This really angered Kaladin. Having our new context, what were they really calling each other? By the way, love it or hate it, Sillidan's stocks are way up in this chapter as well. This may just be platonic, after all. I have a friend that we would occasionally make crass flirty remarks like this back and forth with, but we're also engaged now, so take that as what you will. As for the next part of controversy, Kaladin's lesson on bullying is drawing in a lot of controversy online. Some people think he was speaking too familiarly to someone he's never met before. Some people are saying it's too preachy, or that it doesn't feel like Kaladin. I personally don't mind it, and I'll tell you why. It's because he did state that it's possible that the person is just mean, and that it would be even more pathetic. The reality is, some people are just mean because it's worked all their life. This shows growth for Kaladin's character, and also shows that he himself doesn't have it all figured out. Getting into the next epigraph, though, what is the third contest? Perhaps something with the listeners? They've been largely absent so far. Vinley was a major player in the last book, Leshry potentially abandoned Odium, and neither have been mentioned yet. I have been loving the Shallan chapters, and they are filled with lore drops. Unfortunately, they're either straightforward, such as Shallan pulling off substantiation, or so vague, like everything with Rashadium, that it's hard to get much more out of it. Speaking of substantiation, though, why was this forbidden? Sure, it's powerful, but it doesn't really seem dangerous. Maybe there's some sort of fission that occurs during this process separate from what happens with soul casting? For anyone that did miss it, though, we do have what appears to be the return of Adolin's Rashadium Sureblood. Sureblood died at the Battle of Stormfront at the end of Words of Radiance. It appears that he is back this chapter, though. Eventually, the herd moved off, giving gallant nuzzles before going. All except one, who lingered, looking over its shoulder at Adolin. In a strangely intimate moment, this horse-like Spren trotted back and put its muzzle out to Adolin, who lifted his hand to touch it. The interaction lasted barely a moment, then the Spren was off again, galloping through the air after the others. "What was that?" Shallan asked. "That Spren," Adolin said. "It was familiar somehow. Its eyes. I've seen it somewhere before." Seriously, what is a Rashadium? This one was supposedly killed, but here it is in Shadesmar. It makes absolutely no sense. The chapter ends with the realization that there is an army sailing towards Azimir. It's theorized that they got there through the perpendicularity on the Horneater Peaks, which is worrisome for Rock. Hey, maybe Rock joined the Voidbringer army and is working as a spy. Maybe during that confrontation, we'll see Rock switch sides and team back up with the Windrunners again. It's doubtful, but a guy can hope, right? Azimir is where Szeth and Kaladin are supposed to be meeting Shallan and Adolin, so we will see how this all turns out. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that this is the third battle that was being talked about, and not something to do with the listeners like I'm hoping. But the reality is anyone's guess. If you like this video though, and you want more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and join us next time so that we can all become a little more quantifiably invested.